सो हेलो एवरीवन। सो आज हम शुरू करने जा रहे हैं एक और नया चैप्टर अपना क्लास 10th साइंस 1 का, दैट इज मेटलर्जी। सो इन दिस चैप्टर वी आर गोइंग टू सी अबाउट द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द मेटल्स, केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द मेटल्स, chemical properties of the non-metals, metallurgy, various concepts, physical properties of non-metals, reactivity series of the metals. So Earth was born about 4.5 billion years ago. Various formative processes have been taking place in the core of the Earth and its surrounding since its creation till today. These have resulted in the formation of various ores, liquids, and gases. So, as So, as it is given here that the Earth was born about the 4.5 billion years ago, और उसके बाद बहुत सारे ऐसे processes थे that is the which have taken place in the core of the Earth, that is the cooling, then raining and all, due to which there has the formation of the this beautiful Earth and the surrounding which we are now seeing today. These have resulted in the formation of the various ores, liquids, and the gases. So, which method do we use when we want to study many things together and at the same time? The substances around us are in the form of some or the other elements or their compounds. In the beginning, elements were classified in accordance with their chemical and the physical properties into the types metals, non-metals, and metalloids. And these are in the use even today. You have studied their characteristics in the last standard. We are going to get more information about them in this lesson. और यहाँ पर जो कहा गया है कि जो एलिमेंट्स जो डिफरेंट कंपाउंड्स थे, मेटल्स, नॉन मेटल्स, मेटालॉइड्स एंड ऑल, सो उनको क्लासिफाई करने के लिए दैट वी हैव क्लासिफाइड देम एज अकॉर्डेंस विद देयर केमिकल एंड द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज. So, as we have studied about how the classification of these metals, non-metals, and the metalloids have taken place in the chapter that is periodic classification of the elements in this science one. So we are going to get more information about them in this lesson. और इसके बारे में कुछ और इंफॉर्मेशन हमें इस चैप्टर में मिलने वाली है. So, what are the physical properties of the metals and the non-metals? Physical properties of the metals. Metal exists mainly in the solid state. और जो मेटल होते हैं वो मेनली एग्जिस्ट करते हैं दैट इज द स्टेट सॉलिड स्टेट. The metals, namely mercury and gallium, exist in the liquid state at the room temperature. So, again, this is important question which may asked, that is the metals, namely mercury and the gallium, exist in the liquid state at the room temperature. Metal possesses luster. Metal is having the property of the luster, that is shiny, shininess. Metallic luster goes on decreasing due to the exposure to the atmospheric oxygen and moisture, and also in the presence of some reactive gases. And we have seen about this rusting of the iron and all, that is the metal rust because of the exposure to the atmospheric oxygen and the moisture, or in the presence of some of the reactive gases. So next, we know that the metals have the properties, namely ductility and malleability. So ductility क्या है? Ductility that the metal sheets can be drawn into a thin wire. जैसे कि gold है, so gold we can convert the gold metal into the small thread like structure. Then malleability is that metal can be converted into sheets. Similarly, all the metals are the good conductors of the heat and electricity. और metal के जो खास property है, that is they are the good conductors of the heat and electricity. Generally, all metals are hard. However, the alkali metals from the group 1 such as lithium, sodium and potassium are exceptions. तो यहाँ पर जो exception है, that generally all the metals are the hard. But there is a exception regards with the alkali metals. Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, as we have seen in the चैप्टर 2, दैट इज द पीरियोडिक क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ द एलिमेंट्स. और वहां पर हमने देखा था कि जो पीरियोडिक टेबल में जो ग्रुप 1 एंड ग्रुप 2, जो ग्रुप 1 के जो एलिमेंट्स है, तो यहाँ पर कहना चाह रहे हैं कि ग्रुप 1 के जो एलिमेंट्स है वो अल्कली मेटल्स, दे आर जनरली सॉफ्ट. सो these metals can be cut with the knife as they are very soft. and this type of the metals can be cut easily with the help of the knife. तो कौन से जैसे कि हमने देखा था हाइड्रोजन, लिथियम, सोडियम, पोटेशियम। सो उसमें लिथियम, सोडियम, पोटेशियम जो है दैट दे कैन बी इजीली कट विद अ नाइफ, सो दे आर द सॉफ्ट वन। वो मेटल्स ही है लेकिन दे आर द एक्सेप्शन बिकॉज दे शो द प्रॉपर्टी दैट दे आर इजीली एबल टू कट। मेटल्स हैव द हाई मेल्टिंग एंड द बॉइलिंग पॉइंट। मेटल्स का जो मेल्टिंग एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट है वो सबसे ज्यादा होता है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल टंगस्टन मेटल हैज द हाईएस्ट मेल्टिंग पॉइंट दैट इज 3422 डिग्री सेल्सियस। और जो टंगस्टन मेटल कहाँ पर यूज होता है, दैट इज यूज्ड इन द फिलामेंट ऑफ द बल्ब। बल्ब की जो फिलामेंट है उसमें टंगस्टन मेटल का ही यूज किया जाता है। So, as this is having the highest melting point, that is 3422 degrees Celsius. Again, this is one of the important question which may ask in the complete the following section in the exam. That tungsten metal has the highest melting point, that is 3422 degrees Celsius. On the contrary, the melting and the boiling points of the metals such as the sodium, potassium, mercury, gallium are very low. और अगेन यहाँ पर एक्सेप्शन है कि मेल्टिंग एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट्स जो है मेटल्स के, जो कि सोडियम, पोटेशियम, मर्क्यूरी एंड गैलियम है, तो इनके लो है। A sound is produced when certain metals are struck. This is called as a sonority. And sonority, ये जो property है that they are that is associated with the metals. Metal shows this property. That is when the metal is struck, so it generates the sound. That is this property is called as the sonority. Hello. So a sound is produced when certain metals are struck. This is called as a sonority. These metals are known as the sonorous metals. So this type of the metals are called as the sonorous metal. Next is the physical properties of the nonmetals. When properties of the nonmetals are considered, it is found that some nonmetals are in the solid state while some are in the gaseous state. That means when when the properties of the nonmetals are considered, अगर non-metal की हम property देखेंगे, so we are able to see that some of the non-metals are in the solid state while some are in the gaseous state. मतलब कुछ जो है वो सॉलिड स्टेट में हमें ऑब्जर्व होते हैं, कुछ गैसियस स्टेट में। एक्सेप्शन इज द नॉन मेटल ब्रोमीन विच एग्जिस्ट इन द लिक्विड स्टेट। और ब्रोमीन एक ऐसा नॉन मेटल है दैट एग्जिस्ट इन द लिक्विड स्टेट। नॉन मेटल्स डू नॉट possesses luster but iodine is the exception as its crystals are shiny. अगेन यहाँ पर आयोडीन जो है एक एक्सेप्शन है दैट इट शोज इट्स क्रिस्टल्स आर द शाइनी। मतलब शाइनी जो मतलब शाइनी हमने जो देखा कि लस्टर जो प्रॉपर्टी है दैट इज द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द मेटल्स। बट यहाँ पर जो एक्सेप्शन है नॉन मेटल में दैट इज आयोडीन क्रिस्टल्स दैट दे आर द शाइनी। नॉन मेटल्स आर नॉट हार्ड बट डायमंड विच इज एन एलोट्रोप ऑफ द कार्बन इज द एक्सेप्शन। नॉन मेटल्स जो है वो हार्ड नहीं होते लेकिन डायमंड जो कि एलोट्रोप है कार्बन का दैट इज द एक्सेप्शन। और जो एलोट्रोपी ऑफ द कार्बन की जो एलोट्रोपिस थी वो हमने सब्सटेंसेस इन कॉमन यूज एंड ऑल उस चैप्टर में हमने यहाँ पर देखी थी क्लास 9th में। सो डायमंड इज द हार्डेस्ट नेचुरल सब्सटेंस। नॉन मेटल्स हैव द लो मेल्टिंग एंड द बॉइलिंग पॉइंट। नॉन मेटल्स आर द bad conductors of the electricity and heat. Graphite, an allotrope of the carbon, is an exception as it is a good conductor of electricity. सो अगर हम देखने जाए सो ये जो दो प्रॉपर्टीज है दैट इज द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द मेटल्स एंड फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द नॉन मेटल्स। सो इनमें कुछ तो मतलब एक्सेप्शन है एज दिस चैप्टर अगर हम आप आगे पढ़ेंगे 11th 12th में अगर साइंस लेते हैं आप साइंस स्ट्रीम। सो वहां पर आप देखेंगे दैट दिस टाइप ऑफ द चैप्टर्स आर कम्स इन द इनऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री। Inorganic because as these are the there are the various different exceptions which are present here in this. So ये जो exception है that we have to remember as these exceptions will be asked in the exam regards with that. अगर आप ये मतलब एक नोट बनाएंगे इसकी कि क्या exceptions है properties के इसमें metals and non metals के, so we are able to see and classify that and also able to remember regards with that. So graphite and allotrope of the carbon is an exception as it is a good conductor of electricity. Next is the chemical properties of the metals. Metals are reactive. They lose electrons easily and become positively charged ions. That is why metals are called as the electropositive elements. और जैसा कि metal की जो tendency है to give the electrons due to which they are having the positive charge. For this concept we have studied in the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals of the elements in the chapter 3 of this only. अगर आपने वो वीडियो देखे नहीं होंगे, so do watch the playlist regards with the chemical properties of the elements and also the periodic classification of the elements. So you will not be able to face any kind of the issue regards with this chapter. So do you know, substances which are in the good conductor of the heat are usually good conductors of electricity as well. Similarly, bad conductors of heat are also bad conductors of the electricity. The exception is the diamond, which is a bad conductor of electricity but good conductor of heat. Generally, हम जब देखते हैं कि गुड कंडक्टर्स ऑफ हीट जो होते हैं, जो मेटल्स होते हैं या नॉन मेटल्स या एनी सब्सटेंसेस विच आर जनरली द गुड कंडक्टर्स ऑफ हीट आर ऑल्सो गुड कंडक्टर ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. बट जैसे कि बैड कंडक्टर्स ऑफ द हीट होंगे तो बैड कंडक्टर्स ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी होते हैं जनरली. लेकिन एक्सेप्शन है डायमंड. डायमंड विच इज अ बैड कंडक्टर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, ये इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बैड कंडक्टर है लेकिन गुड कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट. अगेन यहाँ पर एक एक्सपेरिमेंट दिया है, पेयर ऑफ द टोंग्स और स्पैटुला, नाइफ बर्नर, सैंपल्स ऑफ द एल्यूमिनियम, कॉपर, आयरन, लीड, मैग्नीशियम, जिंक, सोडियम. यूज सोडियम केयरफुली इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ द टीचर. होल्ड द सैंपल ऑफ ईच ऑफ द above metals at the top of the flame with the help of the pair of tongs or a spatula. Which metal catches fire readily? How does the surface of the metal appear on the catching fire? What is the color of the flame while the metal is burning on the flame? So this we have asked here. आगे जो है reaction of the metals with different oxygen, water and all, we will be seeing it in the next part. Till now, if you are having any doubt, then you can comment in the comment box, and also if you like the videos and all, then do like, share and subscribe. So today in we have started with the chapter metallurgy, and we have seen about the physical properties of the metals and physical properties of the non-metals and the exceptions which are there, and also we have studied about the chemical properties of the metals in introduction, and also one do you know. So next we will be continuing with the reaction of the metals with the oxygen, then air, water and all. And also we are going to see about the reactions and all. These reactions are definitely going to be asked in the exam. So we will be seeing it in a detail. So thank you for the joining. If you are having any kind of the doubt regards with this chapter or the previous chapter of which the videos are uploaded on the channel, then do let know in the comment. We will try to take the doubt